Some mob bosses die legends while others vanish into the wind. But these guys, they're still breathing, aging, and locked up behind federal walls for the rest of their days. This is Real Mob Stories, and today we're diving into the top 10 most notorious mobsters still in prison. These aren't just guys who got caught up in the lie. These are the heavy hitters, the bosses, underbosses, enforcers, the ones who ordered hits, ran the rackets, and left their mark on the American underworld. From the man who tried to take out John Gotti to a stone cold Brooklyn killer trained in martial arts to the current official boss of the Lucchese family still running things from a cell. These are the names that still carry weight and fear. We're talking lifebirds, decades behind bars, and sentences that'll outlive them. But before we get to the list, we've got four wise guys who just missed a cut, and trust me, even they would headline most other videos. What really caused me to put together this list was that earlier today in Gangland News, it was mentioned that Vito Guzzo would be released, from the infamous Giannini crew and also in the Colombo family. He'd be released next month. And he's kind of an interesting case because he was actually an associate when he went in prison, and he was made in the bathroom in prison. And so it'll be interesting when he gets out if he's going to, one, stay in that life, and two, is he going to be required to get inducted again? You know, my understanding is that he has done very well in prison. He's done all the classes that he's been asked to do, something like 135 classes that he's done since he's been in prison for 20 plus years. And so he's been able to shave about 10 years off his sentence. And so he's being released up on the First Step Act. So anyway, there's several others that are in prison right now, and I want to get to them and get your thoughts on, do you think they'll ever get out? Will they get compassionate release? But I wanted to mention who I think are the most infamous mobsters still doing time. So to start off, we've got some honorable mentions, and these could actually be on the list, to be honest with you, but I just wanted to, I have to come up with 10, and it's a little hard. So on this list that I consider just missing the cut is Thomas Huck Carbonaro. He is actually 77 years old. He's in Allenwood right now, and he was part of Sammy the Bull Gravano's crew, and he actually got a 70-year sentence for racketeering and the attempted murder of Sammy Gravano when he went out to Arizona. Also, we have Baldo Amato. He's a Bonanno soldier, the cousin of Cesar Bonaventure, and he's actually really famous from the 70s because he lured Carmine Galante to his death, and he was given life in prison in 2006 for the 1992 murders of Sebastiano De Falco, who was a restaurant owner, and Robert Perino, who was the delivery supervisor for the New York Post that they were concerned might squeal. And then we actually got two guys that are higher ups, but they're older, and they just got into prison recently, and that's Matty Madonna. He's 89 years old. He's at the Rochester Federal Medical Center, and then you have Stephen Crea that's 77, and as you know, Madonna was a Lucchese acting boss, and Stephen Crea was the underboss, and both of them got sentenced for the rubout of Michael Meldish, who ran the East Harlem Purple Gang. And they got their life sentences, I believe, back in 2020. All right, now to our top 10 list. Number 10, Charles Carneglia. Carneglia is 78 years old. He's in Canon USP, and actually, he's pretty old to be in a USP. USPs are the most serious and the most locked down of all prisons, and Carneglia is still there at the age of 78. He was a Gambino soldier. He was convicted in 2009 and tied to at least 4 murders. I just did a show recently about Charles and his brother John Carneglia. John Carneglia spent decades in prison as well, but he got out back in 2017. And Carneglia was a nutcase. He was suspected in dismembering bodies with acid, and he was part of Gotti's feared inner circle. Number 9, Frank Martinez. Martinez is 71 years old. He's in Allenwood, and he's the former acting underboss of the Philly mob. And he was put into that position under John Stanfa back in the Philly War that was going on between the Young Turks and the Stanfa faction. And like I said, he got his life sentence in 1996, was tied to 2 murders, 7 attempted murders, extortion, including a New Jersey cop, and illegal gambling. Number 8, Jackie DeRoss. DeRoss is 87 years old. He's currently at Springfield Medical Center Federal Prison. That's the same place that John Gotti died at Springfield, and I believe so did Chin Gigante. And DeRoss was the Colombo underboss, and he got convicted in 2007 for the Bill Cotolo murder and the attempted hit on Joe Campy. And he actually has blood ties back to the Persico family, so he's related to Carmine Persico. And speaking of Persico, our number 7 pick is Alley Boy Persico. Alley Boy is 71 years old. He's at the McKean FCI prison, and he was a Colombo acting boss. And he took a life sentence for the Bill Cotolo murder. And he actually took the reins from his father Carmine and kept that Persico bloodline alive at the top. Number 6, John Stanfa. Stanfa's 84 years old. He's at Danbury FCI. And he was the Philly boss during the chaotic 1990s. He was there during that last Philly war between the 2 factions of Joey Merlino and the Young Turks, and then the Old Guard, which John Stanfa was in there. Stanfa was involved with the family, with the Philly mob, and was a driver actually for Bruno, and was the driver when Bruno was killed in 1980. And Stanfa, was more of an outsider that came in. He did have some ties to the Gambino family, and the thought was the Gambinos were going to help him with keeping control of Philly, but the Gambino family during the early 90s was having a lot of problems. So he gets life for racketeering, murder, conspiracy, and taking out top rivals like Michael Cingolini. And he is also known for the infamous failed hit on Joey Merlino. Actually, several. Number 5, and he is still alive, Bobby Manna, 95 years old, Rochester Federal Medical Center, the longtime Genovese concierge. He also spent a lot of time running crews in New Jersey. And he got an 80-year sentence back in 1989. And his sentence was related to racketeering, but also to trying to put a hit out on John Gotti. And this guy was really close to Chin Gigante, well-respected, and he's still alive. I think one of the things that got him in for 80 years and getting his compassionate release denied a couple of times is that he had threatened to put a hit out on the judge, which was Marianne Trump. And so that didn't help his case. And typically, if you make threats against a prosecutor or a judge, it really the feds don't look too kind on that. Number 4, and this guy's actually a soldier, wasn't an administration member, but he had a big crew. This guy's Tommy Pitera, nicknamed Tommy Karate. He's 70 years old, and he's also at a USP. He's out at Big Sandy, and he was part of the Bonanno family. He had a 30-man crew. A lot of them were kids. A lot of them were pushing drugs, and he was someone that was also very much into the craft of killing. He enjoyed killing. He had books on how to do that. He knew how to get rid of bodies. This guy is, really, someone that you didn't want to mess with. He was as a kid, he was bullied, and he learned martial arts. Actually, went to Japan. Number 3, Vincent Basciano, a.k.a. Vinny Gorgeous. Vinny Gorgeous is 65 years old. He's currently at the Coleman 1 USP. He was the Bonanno boss after Joey Massino flipped. Vinny Gorgeous is trying to get his case overturned, or at least get a new trial. And he has 2 life sentences. He got a life sentence for the murder of Frank Santoro back in 2007, and then he got the another murder, which was Randy Pizzolo back in 2011. And what's interesting is that Vinny Gorgeous wanted to fight the case, and he could have actually taken 20 years as a plea, but he decided to roll the dice, and he lost big. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to get a new trial. I actually went into Pacer and looked at where things are at with that request, and so the last update is that earlier this month, the feds, federal prosecutors asked for a 60-day extension to be able to look at the documentation, all the sealed documents. I know that I have a lot of the paperwork for Joe Massino, and there's like over 20,000 pages just on Joe Massino. So there's a lot to cover and go through, but we should get some sort of resolution and a decision by the judge this year if Vinny Gorgeous will get a retrial. And now we're down to our top 2 most infamous mobsters. So number 2, this will be Vic Orena. Vic Orena is 9 years old. He's at Devon's Federal Medical Center. We've heard a lot about him recently. There was a book written about the Colombo Third War. Vic Orena was the Colombo acting boss during this bloody war, and he got 3 life sentences plus 85 years in 1992. And he was convicted of Thomas Acera's rubout, and also multiple other rackets like racketeering, loan sharking, etc. And there's still hope that he might be able to get out. He's having some issues with memory. He's got dementia, and it would be good for Orena to be able to at least come home to spend his last years. And then finally, number 1 on my list is Vic Amuso. Vic Amuso's 9 years old. He's at the Buckner Medium 2 FCI. Buckner is a facility that does have a lot of medical treatments. The guy's 9 years old, but he seems to be in good health. You see pictures of him, photos of him from time to time. He's still the official boss of the Lucchese family. He holds that title. He was convicted in 1992 of 54 different counts, including 9 murders. He was on the lam. He was on the lam with Gas Pipe Casso. They get captured in 1991, and he spent already over 30 years inside prison and counting. So that's my top 10 list. We'll see which ones will get a compassionate release. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if any of these guys do get a compassionate release, I have to say I was really surprised when last year that we got word of the compassionate release of the Gemini twins, Anthony Center and Joey Testa. I didn't expect them to ever get out based upon their reputation and their crimes. But if they can get out, I think some of these guys definitely have a chance. Yeah, I don't understand guys, in their 90s still being, locked away. Yeah, it just doesn't make much sense to me, as I don't feel that they would get out of prison and be a threat to society. So, we'll continue to follow these guys. If any of these guys get a compassionate release, or we get any updates on, retrials, that type of thing, we'll definitely let you know. So there you have it. 10 of the most feared, infamous, and legendary mobsters still living behind prison walls. Some of them ran entire families, others were the muscle, but all of them were major players in one of the bloodiest eras in American crime. But as the clock ticks and these guys get older, one thing becomes clear: the mob may still be alive, but these men, they're ghosts of a different time. Let me know your thoughts on my top 10 lists. Who did I miss? Who was you most shocked that I included? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor. Also, please hit the like button. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and God bless you always.